Hi, it's Joe here from Meth Testing Kit. Now, if you order a laboratory-based test from us, what you will get is you'll get the samples of the swab in this container. You'll get 5 templates. You get gloves, you'll get a blue tack, and you'll get a return insert post you. So once you finish, you can just drop it off there. Okay, we're going to discuss to you why do your own tests instead of using a meth testing company. First of all, you're going to save the money. It's only costing $80 to do this. Second of all, you avoid the rip-off from meth testing company. Now, how easy is it for meth testing company to rip you off? Very, very easy. They can pretty much recommend you keep testing and excessive testing, and they can even tell you, hey, you need to decontaminate your place at a lower level. So a good example of the rip-off and scam, if you don't believe me, go and Google meth testing scam, meth testing rip-off, meth testing cowboy. Go and Google it now and find out to see all the horror story. So why don't you do it yourself? Okay, so if you buy it from us, basically you'll be doing the sample yourself. You'll be sending it back to the laboratory yourself. It goes straight to the laboratory. No one touches it. So the laboratory that we use is an INZ approved laboratory. It's a very well-known laboratory. You could be getting a meth tester to do it. They'll do the same thing. It'll go to the same laboratory. Okay, there's no difference except swabbing. And we will teach you how to swab like a professional. Okay, so if you got a rental property, you want 100% accuracy, buy the laboratory test. It's $80 plus freight. Okay, we don't charge you extra for freight. So when you pay for the freight, it will come with a prepaid bag. Okay, so once you finish testing, we will show you at the end of the program to how to, you just pretty much take it to any New Zealand post. It'll go there overnight. Your result will come out 24 hours within the laboratory got the sample. Okay, so the pitfalls of scamming is quite rampant. So that's why we demand self-testing kits. Okay. A lot of them will rip you off and a common trick on this industry is even at a lower level they will demand you to do multiple testing. Okay, if you don't understand this industry, they'll pretty much dig in from you, take for the money. Okay, so to get a professional meth tester to do the same kind of laboratory test will cost between $250 to $300. Where you get 5 of the sample, they give you 1 average result. Okay, so we're gonna teach you how to do this, and I'll just give you photos. Or this is taken in a New Zealand Herald, where a meth testing cowboy is blamed for unnecessary expenses. Same thing. They don't have any experience. They jump into the industry, and that's what happened. They will recommend excessive decontamination, excessive testing. It's gonna cost you more than $20,000-$30,000. You don't even need it. Okay, we can explain to you how the residue works and how high, how low you should be doing that. And yeah, so we're gonna start doing the test, and we can explain to you how to do the test. So there's actually 2 types of tests that you can do. Okay, so if you're buying a house or you just want to test a house without suspicious, that's what you call an initial screening test. Okay, where you get 5 samples and they'll give you 1 result. So we're gonna go for 5 areas and put it back and send it to the laboratory, and that will pretty much give an average result. And we're gonna explain to you shortly how to read all that results. Now this is a good example of 2 customers of mine who said, the meth testing company has tested my property. It is only got a very low reading, but they're actually demanding another $700 to do some tests. So this is a company that he used, and the level of methamphetamine is 0.61. Okay. It's saying here, they always say this, that one of the area could be as high as 6, which is really possible. Out of these 10 areas that he swabbed, he said one of them could be as high as 6. So they would recommend to test each area, which is going to cost, I think, $60 or $70, which is on his the recommendation letter. Saying, hey, look, it's reading at 0.61. One of them could be as high as 6. So we would recommend you to test the area. Okay, so we want to avoid all this pitfall where they keep demanding money. So he just paid $300 to do this from a real estate agent, because the real estate agent took another $50. It's costing $250. So do it yourself. It's quite hard to find a good reputable company to do it. So yeah, skip all that. Buy a self-test kit, laboratory base, for $80. Exactly the same test, and we're gonna show you how to do the test, what areas to do the test, if the place is newly painted, what areas to target. So you'll get all that instruction when you buy the kit from us. Okay, so we are from Meth Testing Kits. Our website is methtestingkit.co.nz, and that's our email address, methtestingkit@gmail.com, and our phone number is 022-045-3682. Okay, so looking back at this instruction, as I told you, it will explain everything from an initial test, a detailed test. Now, if the initial tests fail, you're gonna have to do a detailed test, which we're gonna show you that as well. Okay, so areas where you want to test. Okay, same as the DIY home test kit. Always go above shoulder heights for the first initial test. The reason for that is we try to avoid cross-contamination. You could have a cousin where he's meth addicted, and he could be touching this wall here, and he could be using the phone. He could be switching all these switches. And you start swabbing all that, that's going to come up positive, but that's a false positive. That's why we advise you to swab above shoulder heights, because they cannot reach that, and that's more accurate for an initial test. So very, very important to put gloves on. And now you have to select 5 areas of the areas that we've given you. If it's a newly painted area, we do have a suggestion where to put it. So basically those areas there, it will be quite good, or an alarm, or light switches where they cannot paint. Fan is quite good as well. Yeah, so we're going to for this instance, for this house here, we're going to select this area here. Okay, so you find 5 spots on the house. It could be 1 in each bedroom. So you've got 3 bedrooms, that's 3 there. 2 in the kitchen, very, very important where the kitchen is, where there's water, where there is heat. Okay, so bathroom is also quite important. But from my experience, bathroom, the kitchen is more important. So on the kitchen, I've chosen 2 areas because of the steam goes up there and the steam goes in here. So if you're cooking meth, that's very likely the 2 areas that you want. But other areas you can go for is just above the range hood, because if you're cooking, it goes in there. Another here. Okay, so that's the kitchen area. So you want 1 test there, and on the bedroom, you might want to go somewhere in the sill, in the frame, or somewhere on the wall, or somewhere up there. Okay, as I said, this is 100% accuracy. If there's any meth, it will find it. With the laboratory test. It is really, really sensitive. I've been doing this for quite a while, and I never miss a beat. Laboratory test is 100%. With the instant meth test kit, the home strip test, that's 97% accuracy. So that's another good area to test. Okay, so the initial test always above shoulder heights. Okay, do not test below shoulder. That's for the initial test. So I'm going to put the gloves on and show you how to do this. So the reason why we ask you to put gloves on is just cross-contamination from your hand. Okay? So we are going to do the initial test. We're going to show you how to do the detailed test later. That's if it comes up positive from the laboratory. So we'll show you that as well. So first of all, you're going to get 5D swab. So we start with 1 swab. Okay, and for the instance is we're going to use that area over there to do it. You know, you can use that area, but you know, I would show you, it's probably easier for me to show you in that area. Okay, so we'll take one swab here. Okay, so the result's going to be an average result, so it doesn't matter if you mix them together. Okay, so I'm gonna start swabbing this one here. Okay, so if you notice, this swab here is still quite, it's got a alcohol base, I think, so it's still a bit wet. So when you swab it Z position. Okay, then you turn it around, you swab it this position. Okay, then you turn it the other side. Same thing. This is above shoulder heights where people cannot touch it. Where there's no cross contamination. So this will give you a more accurate result. So we're only measuring this part here because that's 100 cm2. That's how the laboratory will measure it. Okay, so we choose 5 areas to do this. Now, how easy to do this? Even a 10-year-old boy can do it. So why pay $300 for someone to do it? And what's stopping a meth testing company putting a new swab in there to extract money from you? Hey, if someone's short of money, they'll do everything. Okay, so do it yourself, save some money. Okay, so pretty much we want to go all around the cloth and grab that residue in the wall. So 5 areas of this, I would say spread it out for initial test. So 1 in each bedroom. Kitchen is really, really important. 1 can go in the hallway or bathroom. So you choose 5 areas to do exactly the same test. Okay, so that's one test for you. You put it back. We're just gonna leave it in there, and we'll do another test here. I forget to mention the range hood is also quite good to test. Reason for that, if they're cooking, hey, that's going to suck everything. Anything with fans, you know, if you got a fan near the bathroom, you know, next to the wall, it's quite good as well. So a range hood is quite good, but you need to remove the filter, avoid the grease. So in this part, well, that's where the motor is. I would just swab it in here. Okay. So as I said, you know, the result's going to be average of 5. So same thing, I didn't use this, I should be really using this, so I just pretend that I just put it in there. So I would just go in there, in that area there. Okay, so same thing, I would put it. Okay, so you do 5 of these once you finish. Okay, so I would go back in here. So the right motion of doing is Z area. Then Z area. Okay, you get as much residue in there to do it. Okay, so once you finish with 5 area, you stuck it up quite nicely, as much as possible. You know, yeah. So we just pretend we've done the 2 bedroom as well. Put it back in there. Put it in here. Okay. Okay. Now we're gonna discuss to you about the paperwork. Okay. You can do your own paperwork, or you give us all this information. Okay, so we need the site address, we need the sampler who's going to take the sample, and we need the 5 areas that you want to test. So commonly, you know, kitchen, bedroom 1, 2, 3, and bathroom or lounge or garage. So we need these 3 information, so the laboratory will process your paperwork. Now if you give us all that information, we will fill up your paperwork, okay, for you. So you'll receive a sample paperwork like this. Okay, so it will have the address. You know, most of these are confidential. You don't need to worry. It's not going to go to the council. It won't go to anywhere else. The laboratory required. So when you get your result, you know, all this information will be on your final result. Okay, so that's the laboratory is an INC accredited laboratory, and you will have the address and everything in there written as your certificate. So that's the only reason why we're getting the address and we're getting the areas. So like the areas that you've got, you know, it'll be written in there. There's a few form of that. This is another example. This is probably what you'll get. Okay, so this is pretty much your address will be there, the areas that you've tested it, and the result will be in there. Okay, so it's testing for methamphetamine and amphetamine, epidurin, and pseudoepidurin. So the reason why it's 100% is because it's testing not just methamphetamine, it's testing for other drugs that makes methamphetamine, that makes it 100% accuracy. Okay, yeah, so that's the only reason why I asked this three information is because of the paperwork. Okay, and we need that information before we can even send you the testing kit. Okay, so if you email us all that information, we'll do all the paperwork for you. All you need to do is fill in the dates to send to the laboratory, the date that you've taken the sample, and the time. Okay, so that all in the highlight areas, that's all you need to fill in. Now, once you fill this in, all you need to do is put this in the prepaid ticket that we send to you. So it will have the laboratory address, and your swab, and take the seal off. Go to any New Zealand post. Okay, you need to go to the counter. It's really, really important to go to the counter, because this is just a postage. You know, it's not gonna get there overnight. Okay, go to the counter and upgrade it to a courier. You pay another $3. They'll get there the next day, and you'll have a track and trace number. Keep hold of the track and trace number. Now, there's no third party involved. You did the testing. You know, you're not gonna rip yourself off. You know, you're not gonna be putting a used swab in there. You know, there's no rip-off, and it's cheaper than a professional person to do it. Okay, yeah, so this is one way of doing the initial test. Now we're gonna show you how to do the detailed test. Okay, so if the result comes up positive, okay, what happens with that? Okay, it really depends on the result. Okay. And it really depends. If it's below 5 or below 3, you might think twice, oh, where is it coming from? Now it's the time to do detailed test. But if the result is coming up like 0.4, you know, like this other crowd here, you know, this one's tested at 0.4, and they're demanding, these people just paid $300 from a real estate agent, and now they're demanding another $700-800 to, you know, they recommend to test per year. This is a clear ripoff. Okay, basically 0.4, I won't even worry about it. You know, if it's my property, if it's a rental, why will I test it? But if that's 10 or 5, yes, I will do a detailed test. Same thing, we can provide that services as well. Now, if you want to do a detailed test, so pretty much you don't get 5, you get 1 of this. So you swab 1 area, and same thing, you give us this information, so you address of the site, sampler, and 1 area you want to test. So you want to test it per area, and you give us the paperwork. We will even fill this in for you. If it's kitchen, we'll put it in the kitchen. So you get, you're gonna have the cost of the laboratory will be per test. Okay, so you choose an area in the kitchen, 1 area only to measure it, and that will give you 1 swab, 1 result. You know, to see where the contamination is. I'm afraid to tell you, you can either do that, or you can go and get a quick meth testing kit and measure to see where the residue, you know, if it's high or low. So you can always go to our DIY home meth testing kit and buy the 1.5 microgram. Do that as well. Whatever's exceed the 1.5, you do a laboratory test on that one, and that's another way of saving money. Yeah, as I said, if you have any question, is pretty much give us a ring or email us or text us is pretty much the best. So if you're doing a detailed test, you probably want more than one. So you want detailed test one, so you want one for the kitchen, one for bedroom or whatever. If you want to stick with the laboratory one, but I suggest you do buy the Meth testing kit at 1.5 microgram, the quick test kit, and that will eliminate the place where, you know, above the New Zealand standard. So this is the actual recommendations from the New Zealand 8510. So above 1.5 microgram is considered a contaminated house, and that's on the high use area. And for the low use area, it's a 3.51. Now, where's this area? So this area could be bedroom, could be kitchen. This area is probably under the storage, you know, where there's not a lot of people, there's not a lot of traffic area. Yeah, so I hope, you know, by providing this instruction, and as I said, you'll get all this instruction in our website, or you'll get all this instruction in TradeMe, and you'll be able to test your house, and, you know, save you some money. And hey, look, it's all fun as well doing it. You know, you're doing science. Science will tell if your house is contaminated or not. You can tell, you can see what it is. You know, the house could be clean, but hey, the residues inside it. And we don't recommend painting it if a house has been it's got residue in it, and pretty much don't paint it. So before you even paint a rental property, do test it, because when you paint, it goes to the roller, yeah, and it'll spread it out. So if you're selling your house, someone's done a test, it will come up positive. If there is like made in the kitchen, it'll spread it out. So what do you have to do? You have to strip it all out again. So before you paint, Meth test it, and either laboratory or a quick Meth testing kit that we sell, the quick test strip. Now go down to our videos, and you'll see how those test strip work. They work wonders, and they do work. You know, and that's why we took the video to prove it, how it just works perfectly, and it's not expensive. And the good thing, you can do it yourself and save some money. Thank you.